So I've been asked if I would tell maybe a few of my bail bonding stories, and I'm going to take a minute and tell the story. It's not really bail bonding, but it's pretty close. In case you didn't know, I also do bail bonding, RM bail bonds here in North Carolina. RM bail bonds 2 is the western part of North Carolina, which that's who I'm with. So you can find us on Facebook. Also, quick apology if it's a little bit loud in here. My truck got broke into. They busted out my back window, and Safe Light has not quite yet got my window in, but it should be in this week. So you may hear a little bit of noise, but can't do nothing about that. The main thing about this video is that not only is it a wild story, but there is a very, very, very important life lesson that I hope you get, and I'm going to tell that at the end. So even if you don't watch the video, go to the end of it, listen to this life lesson. I promise you it's an important. So years ago, I say years, it's been about 3 or 4 years ago, I was working security for a gambling joint in East Charlotte, which if you look up East Charlotte, it's a big gang area. There's a lot of violent crimes in that area, not gang related, a lot of dope, a lot of stuff goes down in East Charlotte. And a gambling joint, if you look it up on YouTube, just look up like fish houses, electronic poker, video poker, whatever, and you'll find tons of videos of those places being robbed. They rob those places all the time because it's a huge cash business. I've seen people win $20,000 in there. I've seen people lose $10,000 in a night. Everybody knows those places have a ton of cash on hand, and they're in a bad part of town with a high crime rate. You're going to have problems. It was the Monday night before Thanksgiving, I believe 2019, maybe 18 or 19. And the guy that normally works third shift, he had a family emergency. So he couldn't come. He put in our group chat, is there anyone that can take my shift tonight? I had the phone in my hand. I was getting ready to take this shift, and I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted it. I really didn't want to do it. And a new guy that had just started working with us a couple months before hit up the group chat, I've got it. So I didn't think nothing else about it. I went home and went to bed. The guy that had taken this shift, he was new to our location, but he wasn't new to the business. He had been a housing authority comp up in Buffalo, New York, since he'd been down in North Carolina. He'd been doing security in a lot of rough areas of town. So he was no novice. He wasn't no newbie. And that night was the last night he ever spent on this planet. And it's all because of some dumb decisions that he made. I wake up Tuesday morning and my phone has blown up. Overnight, that guy from New York was shot and killed working that venue that I worked on a shift that I almost took. And what makes it even crazier is he wasn't just shot and killed in a robbery or something like that. That man was executed right there in the doorway of that establishment. And here's how it happened. If you've ever been on the streets or dealt with street people that's in the life, the one thing you learn is respect. Above and beyond everything else, respect is everything. If you disrespect someone, in order for them to maintain face, they have to retaliate. It's that simple. It can be a beating, it can be a stabbing, or in the case of the guy from New York, it can be a murder. There was a guy that came in quite often. I'd had dealings with him. You know, when he came in the door, me and him was always cool. Like, we weren't going to go out and eat or nothing, but come in, hey man, what's up? You know, doing good. What about you, bro? You know, it was just kind of just casual conversation. We never had crosswords. He would come in and play. A couple times he got aggravated, and I had to talk to him. And I would just go over, hey man, you're going to have to calm down a little bit in here. And without exception, he'd be like, yeah man, you're right. Sorry, bro. And we'd go on about our business. My buddy Ronnie, who we've had so many adventures together, and he actually got me working down there He'd had to put the guy out before, and he was able to talk him out, and the guy was cool. He's like, yeah, man, let me cash out. Yeah, I know, I'm just mad tonight. My bad. And he left. Never did I disrespect this guy, even when I had to talk to him. I know Ronnie didn't either. Other people had dealt with him. Nobody disrespected him when we dealt with him. Because here's what I didn't know at the time that would come out after this murder. That guy had just got done serving a 10-year stretch in the penitentiary for violent crimes. He was a street guy. Like, he was not someone to trifle with. Apparently, on this Monday night, the street guy gets riled up. The security guy from Buffalo goes over to deal with him, and it's just all in his face, running his mouth to him, threatening him, being disrespectful. Street guy bows up to him, and a fist fight breaks out. The guy from Buffalo was probably about 6'4", 6'5", 250. The street guy wasn't about 6 foot, 6'1", 190 pounds, but he was about the life, you know. He wasn't no punk. And he ended up, apparently, whipping the guard pretty good. And people pulled him apart. And the guard, I think, called him a punk or something like that, which is not good terminology to use. And the street guy looked at him and told him, I'm coming back for you. Yeah, whatever, get out of here. Everybody, you get told that so many times, I'm coming back. 99% of the time, they don't come back. But on this night, he came back. It was probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, around about that time. A girl comes to the door, buzzes to get in, guard lets her in, wands her down, and you can see her on the camera. She just walks through the place real quick. She's really just making sure the place is empty. She turns to leave, goes back to the door, props the door open, and is standing in the doorway talking to this guard. While he's distracted talking to this woman, the street man from earlier jumps out of the bushes with a pistol and starts opening up on him. Catches him in a bulletproof vest. One shot hit him in the leg. And according to somebody I talked to who was in there that night, the guy falls back on the floor. The street guy walks up to him and said, I told you I was coming back. Points a gun at him, pops him. Dead in the doorway, turns around, walks out. They called him. Obviously, he's charged. The girl's charged with accessory. He's back in prison now. They closed the place down for a few days. When I went back to work there, I've got a picture of it on my phone. That guy's dried blood was still in the crevices of that floor where he had been executed there. Crazy story. Here's the point that I want you to get out of this. You need to learn this lesson. There's a lot of people who like to walk around and run their mouth, walk around like you got a chip on your shoulder, talk tough to people, call people names. I saw this just the other day. Walk around, get mad at somebody, or just to be a punk. Go around flicking people off, acting like that. I'm telling you, you do that to the wrong person, it can cost you your life. A lot of these guys, respect means everything. You can have a confrontation with somebody. I've done it many times, but I try to always treat you with respect. I'm not going to call you names. I'm not going to talk down to you. I'm not going to degrade you. I'm not going to call a street guy a punk. Like that's a big no-no. Because if you don't understand why, look up what that means in prison terminology. But you need to be careful the way you interact with people. You never know who you're dealing with. This guy, he wasn't big. He didn't have a bunch of crazy gang tattoos. He didn't fly colors. Like, you would never... He just looked like a pretty regular guy. Little did I know, until after the incident, that he had been to prison, he was a violent guy, and he was capable of murder. And that guy from Buffalo treated him disrespectfully over a minor little nothing, and it cost him his life. So, if you don't get anything else from this video, get this. Be careful how you interact with people. If you've got a problem, deal with it. Don't be a doormat, but talk to people with respect. Because if you disrespect the wrong person, it'll be a bad mistake. Could catch a beating, or in the case of the guy from Buffalo, it could cost you your life. So just something to think about as you go about your day-to-day life and the people you interact with. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little story. Hope you got something out of it. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Adam Lee the Announcer. Check out all the shows I've got coming up. I'd love to see you at a show. RM Bail Bonds, check us out if you're in a bind. Let me know. I'd be more than happy to hook you up. And treat you with respect while I do it. Y'all have a good day.